Today's wellness news you can use is brought to you by Fairbanks Art of Plastic Surgery. And we're back on the show, and one thing that we've learned is that people without the ability to leave the house were not as beautiful as they were when they could go out and visit their hairdresser. And
right, we definitely appreciate all of the lash artists and color artists. Keep us looking good. Oh my goodness. It got bad in there for a minute.
Did it?
You heard the story. Andy was like, you will forever have lashes, whatever you need, girl, because it was so busy. And then it was like once it opened up, we were so busy and they were so slammed by that point.
Oh, sure.
I couldn't get in for another month, so oh my gosh, I appreciate it.
There are hairstylists in New York who charge over $1,000 for a color and a cut, and they are backed up by months.
Wow.
Can you imagine making $1,000 cutting someone's hair?
I would enjoy making $1,000. I got a Flowbee. Give me a call. We could have an experiment in terror, something fun. Okay, speaking of improving, now if having some kind of a procedure done like a facelift is something you've had on your bucket list or your to-do list or something you've been thinking about, I would propose right now being a very ideal time to do it. There are safety measures that are being taken and extra precautions that are entirely probably more safe than it's ever been. You just had your hip redone surgery-wise. And as far as the world goes, what a better time to take a break, do some self-improvement, and be able to come back a couple months later and look amazing. So now Dr. Grant A. Fairbanks is not only an incredible plastic surgeon, he's a gifted artist. He actually trains plastic surgeons from all over the world in an art class. They come here and he teaches them medical sculpting and medical drawing. And he's a fourth generation artist. His grandpa was Arvid Fairbanks, the very famous sculptor who had done a lot of amazing work both here and locally across the country in Washington, D.C. So he comes from a long line of artists. And Silvia and I, when we're editing, I was telling you about this when we were doing makeup, because his before and afters for a facelift is like, when you look at them, it's literally like looking at mother-daughter. When he says when you want to have a facelift, you want to look like you just took 10 years back or you turned the clock back, you don't want to look stretched or strange or weird or pulled, he delivers on that.
There is a very famous actor who's in his 60s.
Burt Reynolds.
No.
Kenny Loggins.
Nope.
Kenny
Just
Rogers.
got married.
Who?
Dennis Quaid.
Oh, did he have a bad one?
I don't know, but look at the picture. His wife is 23 and he's 65. And it looks... The pictures I've seen don't...
He was killing it for a minute, doing some online, like, insurance or something.
Advertising. I mean, he's got a great career, and he in some of the best movies. The Rookie, one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, when a facelift goes, and I don't know if it is, but just the pictures I've seen, things seem a little tight.
I would say when things go wrong with a facelift, there's sort of no not understanding that was a wrong facelift, because it makes you want to scream.
Bad to pay.
I would be a secondary.
There's a guy at security at the St. Louis airport, and all this thing needs is a chin strap.
Right.
Because it looks like he's a furrier going out in Alaska. And this thing is so big and awkward. And
don't you wonder why? But then again, Trump, like, how does he do his hair in the morning? What goes through people's heads sometimes? Don't you just wonder?
Orange,
cotton candy?
in that case.
Dreams of cotton candy. I don't know. But moral being, your plastic surgeon should be an artist. They should be someone who sees you from the standpoint with an artistic eye and artistic skill, as well as the surgical skill. And Dr. Fairbanks has 17 plus years of experience in this industry. He's incredible, and he's going to tell you all about the different versions of facelift that he offers and where you can go to find out more information. Here you go.
Today's Talk365TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Fairbanks Art of Plastic Surgery with wellness team expert Dr. Grant A. Fairbanks.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Talking Wellness series. I'm Holly Love, and today we are back with our wellness team expert Dr. Grant A. Fairbanks to tell you all about facelifts. Hi Dr. Fairbanks, how are you?
Hello Holly, doing well, thank you.
So we are talking facelifts today because there are a number of things to consider on any procedure that you might be wanting to undertake. And facelifts, it just seems there are two things that are really important to know, and that would be, number one is knowing all of your options, and number two is timing and recovery, because that's obviously going to play into your work life and your schedule, because I think arming yourself with as much information as humanly possible when considering a surgery like this is probably the best thing you can do. And there are a lot of different ways to approach a facelift. But I would like to break down so that people can really understand the different ways that are out there, because each one really brings about a different result.
You're correct. So the original facelift was a simple skin lift, just lifting up the skin up and over. And then over time, we started to learn about doing a deeper facelift, taking a deeper layer and pulling that up to give more of a foundation. This has been proved to be very useful. And then we decided to go even deeper, and that's called a deep plane facelift. And that goes down into a second layer and past what we call the release zones, so at that point you can really see the pull. So with a facelift, what's really important is the pull, the direction of pull. You don't want to be stretched and strange. You don't want to look like everything is just going straight up.
Right.
You want to make sure that it's a natural looking facelift.
Let's talk about your approach, because you combine 17 years in this industry. You combine your artistic skill with advanced surgical skills, and you've got a real custom version of all of those. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So the facelifts I offer are dependent upon the patient, and that's why the evaluation is very important, and to understand what the patient's goal is. So we can go all the way from the deep plane facelift, which is essentially a double layer and going deeper, going further, and having a more youthful appearance, to a simple skin lift, which is good for some people, and maybe that's all they need. So it really depends on what the patient needs and what the patient wants.
I think facelift, more than any other procedure, it needs to look natural. Nobody wants to look done. Like we were talking about before, you want to have people just be like, have you been sleeping better? Have you lost weight? Are you in love? Like, why are you glowing? Those are the responses that you get from your facelifts. But
Correct.
I think we've all seen one that looks very fake and very scary. And that natural result is the most important thing, especially in this procedure. So understanding what the different types of facelifts deliver in the end is really important.
That's correct.
What about ages? Is there a specific age that you recommend to come in and start having this conversation, or is that a preference too?
Well, the typical age that we see facelift patients coming in is usually 50s, 60s, sometimes early 70s. We've seen them as early as late 30s, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The patients that we've done at a younger age tend to have more lax skin at a younger age.
Wow.
The nice thing about the facelift is it helps a person feel younger. And then there are the patients who say, you know what, I'm looking older, but I feel younger because I exercise and I want my face to match the rest of my body.
Right.
And those are the other people that will come in for the facelift.
Well, tell me this, because what's interesting is timing, and that's another thing to take into consideration. You obviously offer this throughout the year, but you've noticed different times a year that people seem to gravitate, and right now is a time of year that a lot of people want to have facelift surgery done.
It depends on the person and what they do during the year. For example, many people want to have it done, say, in the winter or the early spring, and that way it doesn't interfere with their summer activities. There are people where their jobs won't let them do it until a certain time, such as spring break or summer break. So it really all depends on the patient and their agenda.
Right. Let's talk recovery. How many days? Because this isn't something like you can go and get done on your lunchtime. There's going to be a little bit of recovery.
It always takes time. If you want to have a good result with safety, less swelling, less bruising, it takes a little more time. But I've asked patients to really avoid strenuous activity for at least 6 weeks.
Ooh, okay.
So no aerobic exercise and so forth. Now, by the time they're 10, 14 days out, they're actually feeling more comfortable about going into public. The swelling isn't as much as they thought it would be typically, but after 6 weeks, people are free to do anything they want to do. But people who come in to see us from out of town, they're back on an airplane in 10 to 14 days. And that's how quickly the swelling and bruising has gone down, so that they're better off in public again.
And you look relatively back to normal. Like the swelling, I know swelling takes a really long time to completely go away, but for the most part, at the end of that 6 weeks, you can be out and about and looking.
Correct. Typically, I tell people Wait for 3 months. After 3 months, you can pretty much tell what your facelift is going to look like. Now the scars will always be pink for the first few months. They start to fade, and it usually takes a full year for the scars to completely fade.
Okay. And what about the bruising? How long does that take?
If there's bruising, and sometimes there's more than others, 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
Fortunately, that can be covered up with some makeup, and so it's actually a fairly well accepted thing.
So if people are interested in getting this done, what is the best way to get a hold of you, and what is the next step?
They can go to the website at Fairbanks-MD.com, and you can put on the promo code Talk365TV.
And book a free consultation.
That's correct.
Thank you for that so much. So for our viewers, he's agreed to extend his offer to do a free consultation if you enter promo code Talk365TV when booking online at Fairbanks-MD.com, which is huge. He spends a lot of time drawing, sketching, bringing his artistic skill, his medical knowledge, answering all of your questions. Probably over a $200 value that you're saving by entering that promo code, or let them know that you saw the spot today, and then get in here, because knowing and being able to have your questions answered will be half the battle at making the decision and moving forward, and then, leading your best life, which is what we want for everybody.
That's correct.
Well, Dr. Fairbanks, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
The pleasure's mine. Thank you.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Talk365 TV right after this.